And I just want to point people here to the website that's at the bottom of the screen there that Joy mentioned, and you can see cities all the way from Albuquerque to Washington, D.C. alphabetically. I can all but guarantee that if you're in the U.S., there is a city near you participating. Please do check out the website, see what's going on in a city near you, and see if you can get involved or participate. And Joy, we also wanted to talk a little bit about the fundraising process. So can you talk about how that's going and where people can go if they would like to donate? And I have, by the way, that website there at the bottom of the screen, adaction.org-DC M4M4All for those who want to support the cause.
Yeah, thank you so much for asking. The fundraising aspect, I was honestly really naive about. I've organized well over 30 actions here in Pennsylvania, in different cities, and I've just my budget has always been a train ticket to Philly or markers and poster board. I didn't really understand what a taking on this was going to be. So for us in DC, we literally have thousands of dollars in bills, from renting porta potties to renting sound systems to, I mean, you name it. So many things. We weren't we didn't expect things to blow up as much as they did. So now everything is so much more on a massive scale. We once were just going to bring bullhorns, but now it's oh, okay, we need speakers and a mixing board and all this stuff. So it's a good problem to have. But that it costs a lot of money. Let's put it that way. And the way that our site has been set up is that direct donations all go to one place. But now that we have 45 marches, that's not helping us bigger cities who have been doing this for 6 months. So we had our fiscal sponsor create a specific link to DC. So any donations can help us out with the money we need to pay for our expenses. And those go to certain things we're not even worrying about. We're just paying for them ourselves. But we're all pretty, broke, disabled losers who, we don't have a lot of money. So it's all, we are. A lot of people call us an organization, but we're really not. We're just a bunch of people who are pissed off. One of the main organizers, you're going to meet, Shareef. He has 2 kids. He works full time, and he still puts in at least 10 hours a day. So we are just so-called regular people who are just kind of running up our charge cards, trying to create this action that hopefully will bring thousands of people in the streets across the country and make history.
Absolutely, and that's a perfect transition. Let's go ahead and bring Shareef and Ricky in here. Wonderful to have you guys both. Thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, man. I appreciate this.
So why don't we start with you, Shareef? Joy just mentioned you. Perfect little transition. Can you just explain your journey here and what made you want to be part of this organizing process?
Yeah, I'm a newbie to organizing and being an activist. I, like most people, when the pandemic hit, I was just waiting to see what was gonna form from this. When Bernie Sanders said now wasn't time for Medicare for all, that kind of raised my antenna to say, oh, this is not good. We got to do something about this. Like most people, I just sat home, social distance, just waited out the storm of the pandemic. And then when Forced to Vote came around, it was like, all right, well, maybe this is the play that, we're going to get Medicare for all. Finally, we're in a pandemic, something's going to happen. And then alas, nothing happened from Forced to Vote. I met Ricky from the Forced to Vote Slack. We built a relationship from that point. I was saying to him, we need to go back to DC. We need to do something. We need to have a march. We need to get out there. But even with that being said, I still wasn't saying for us to do a march. I was saying that maybe we should reach out to like different organizations, different other people who have the experience. Because, we wasn't planning on doing a march. We was thinking about working with other organizations, working with other people to do a march. And then we didn't get a response from anyone. So we was like, okay, we got to do it. So we formed our own kind of coalition, so to speak, and said, we're going to go out there and do it ourselves. And again, we were only going to have one march. And then it catapulted due to the fact of multiple factors, because A, people want to participate, and B, we didn't know how we were going to fund people to even get to DC. But busing people would have been expensive. It's expensive now, but it would have blew the budget up even more so, hotels and busing people. So we said, if everyone do a solidarity event in their own city, and that would have been a better look. And personally, I think that's better, because now it's not like one area saying, I want Medicare for all. Now you have a whole country asking for that. That's a whole nother conversation now. And that's something you can't ignore. And I think that's why the movement is blowing up the way it is because we have a whole country asking for this. It's not a small little city. It's not a little area. We're now a nationwide event.
Yeah. Absolutely. I looking at that list, there are cities on there that I have never even heard of. And then there's all these major cities. I mean, it's all over the place, right? It's really great to see this kind of solidarity among activists and among progressives across the country. Ricky, go ahead and introduce yourself and talk about your journey a little bit.
Hi, I'm Ricky Dunlop. I'm based in New York with Shareef, but I will be down in DC for that event. I've been, going to lots of protests for a long time. I'm usually just, an attendee of protests. Sometimes I'll help out, I'll organize, I'll volunteer, stuff like that. But when Shareef said he wanted to do something down in DC, I was like, we have to. Every time, something like Medicare for All comes along, it's usually attached to a political campaign. And if that political campaign dies, usually that legislation kind of dies with it. We see no big wins for the working class these days. So we're like, we have to do something. So we planned this DC march. This is back in January, so it wasn't that long ago. We were planning on going down to DC. And then we brought in a few extra people to help out, and some of them were on the West Coast, and they were like, well, we can do something out West. And it kind of spread to Los Angeles, and then we added Seattle, and then boom, after that, it spread like wildfire. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And I've talked a little bit about some of the, there's a lot of fantastic experts, activists, people with personal experience, media personalities, all sorts of people getting involved and getting, going to MC, going to speak at these events. Apologies for my camera app. I'll be back in just a second. And so I was hoping you guys could talk a little bit about, I know, some of the, in Seattle, we have Shama Sawant speaking and a couple of other fantastic speakers. I know Tara Reid's going to be in LA. Jimmy Dore and Ron Placone are going to be in LA. Do you guys want to talk about who's going to be in DC and what kind of event you guys have going on there?
The first person I reached out to was Marianne Williamson, because she has been the most supportive, amazing person in my life since I became disabled. She came on my show once, and when we were waiting to go live, I kind of said as an aside, hey, bear with me, I'm looking real close to the camera and stuff because I started going blind last year, blah, blah, blah. And then she started talking to me, and she's like, I don't understand what happened. And, we just kept talking. And then on the air, she said, you can't stop what you're doing. Don't ever stop. And then the next day she messaged me, this is my personal phone number. If you ever need anything, reach out. She did a fundraiser for me. She checks in on me to see how I am. I mean, she is just the most wonderful, kind, genuine person. And she lives in DC. So I was like, oh yeah, I know who I'm reaching out to be the keynote. Within an hour, she was like, absolutely. So after that, I was like, that's like, anyone else is great, but like, to me, that's like, but we have a lot of great people. I mean, we have Dr. Joe Jarvis is flying in from Utah. He's actually a conservative, but he's like hardcore Medicare for all. We have Reverend Annie Chambers, who is a Black Panther and member of Poor People's Campaign. She is phenomenal. She's been an activist for over 50 years, and she's just incredible. We have Jeffrey Ginter, you probably know. He works in the healthcare system, and he will be speaking. We have a few of the people joining us tonight. We have a few, victims of our violent system who will be speaking, and several doctors. Just really an array of people who have been affected by the system.
Yeah, it's a fantastic lineup from what I've seen, and I'm really thrilled to see the kind of solidarity that people are coming together around a cause like this. Like you guys said, it just started in January in one city. I mean, this is really quite incredible stuff that this has grown to be what it is. So I want to congratulate everybody on the incredible work that you all have done to make this happen. Thank you, and to all the viewers at home, please get involved however you can. If you can donate, do. If you can't, figure out a way to maybe help out with one of your local cities, go to the website, see how you might be able to get involved.